This will be a good one.
It'll be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness. Hello everyone, welcome out to Center St. Louis for today's edition of Baseball Talk. We got a special edition of Baseball Talk. We're out on our winter workout tour and we were invited out by the gentleman sitting next to me, Eric Ruehl with Southside Prospects.
Yep.
Appreciate you bringing us out, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like, this is huge. I didn't know this place existed. I think I told you that the other day when I come.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was here.
So the facility itself is 100,000 square feet. We have 8 volleyball courts down over there, which converted into 6 basketball courts.
Yeah.
The turf field right here, which is about 130 feet long, 90 feet wide. 4 batting cages and then a hit tracks cage. And then right behind us is our pitching lane. And then you got offices and a 4,000 square foot weight room, a 4,000 square foot volleyball lab. You got, like we were just talking up there, you got the bamboo stick people and the jujitsu people upstairs. And then there's a lot of just meeting space and stuff like that. And the facility is popping. This is our go time. I mean, wintertime for us is our busy season. We have volleyball tournaments and basketball tournaments every single weekend, and the turf is booked pretty much from October till pretty much the end of April, Monday through Friday, and Saturdays and Sundays with really baseball and softball with our Southside Prospects program. The St. Louis Prospects come down here. High school program comes down here a little bit. And then we have another group, a field hockey group that takes over the other time that is not utilized.
Very good. I know we saw Webster University in here the other day too, right?
Yeah, Webster University baseball, softball, they practice either early in the morning or late in the evening. And then they'll come in and do odd and end times here and there. You know, guys will come in between classes, get some extra swings in and stuff like that.
Yeah, got to do it when you can, right?
Yep, have to.
Yeah.
Have to.
So I was really impressed. And honestly, from the road, folks, I pulled in when I first pulled in, I'd park. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, how's it? And I walk in, it's like, hello, hello, hello. It echoes through I was like, man, this place is huge. And I think it's cool because, back over here is all you're set up for a volleyball tournament or something like that, right?
Yeah, so during the weeknights, we have volleyball leagues for adults. And then our club that's out of here is K Elites Volleyball.
Yeah.
She has over 30 teams. And so her teams are practicing at least twice a week down on the courts.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
I know we're not talking baseball yet, but I think these things are cool. I always find it fascinating, and these are conversations I like to have because you're running this place here, and we've been to all kinds of facilities. I know the sports barn, they have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the field house out there. My buddy Mitch Thomas, he's got the hitting zone.
Yep.
There's, the practice factory, or not practice, but what is that
the
called?
Recruits.
Where they practice.
Yeah, the practice factory. All-American.
All-American, yeah.
Bud Dome down the street as well. They've got the volleyball stuff too, yeah.
Yeah. Without these facilities, I mean, it's very difficult to train in the Midwest, right?
It is. And, being that club sports just in general is so big in the St. Louis market that you have to have facilities like this, privately owned facilities, because high schools cannot support and don't have enough time for all these clubs with all these kids that are really looking to go advance in whether it be baseball or softball or basketball, volleyball. You've got to have these private facilities like us and down in Chesterfield and, everywhere else.
Right. The Rawlings Training Center
exactly,
and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. And the new indoor basketball.
Legacy's down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Legacy. Yeah, those guys too. So we've got to be able to have enough facilities in the St. Louis area to be able to accommodate all the kids that are looking to play all these sports.
Right. And we just saw, I guess, CarShield is building a new facility down in Chesterfield.
Yeah. So in Chesterfield, the Bradley Beal Center just opened about 2 years ago. That's really big with basketball, volleyball world.
Oh, however, so is that what it is?
But the CarShield, I think, from my understanding, is supposed to be out in like Wentzville or St. Charles area somewhere.
Oh, really?
Is what I had kind of heard. I could be wrong. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I had heard it was going out in St. Charles, St. Peter somewhere.
It might have, because they had a big to-do that was supposed to be out there off 370 in Hazelwood for quite a while and never went through.
Correct. Yeah, what was that, the Powerplex, I guess.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a club that was out of here before K Elites came in was actually a part of that as well. And they ended up opening up in conjunction with, the facility down in Chesterfield. So
There you go.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And when I got here, it's cool. I know this is an older building.
Yep.
But man, it's fantastic. It's been a lot. He took me around, showed me, and I love the turf. This is great. We're looking forward to it. We're gonna be live today. I know you'll be watching this later, but don't matter. So you'll be able to see it anyway. So watch it on demand. And and today too, also I want to give a shout out for one of our other winter workout partners is Goat Athletics. Hang on, I'm going to grab this. It's going to be around today. They sporting goods, their gloves, they do the same things. It's kind of like that thing. Oh, I pulled out the pink ones.
oh, look at that.
Yeah, I pulled out the
Look at
pink
that.
ones. Hot pink, white.
Those will look good on you.
They probably would.
Perfect.
But our good buddy Mitchell Harlan, he'll be out later today. Bringing and talking to the kids about their gloves and whatnot. So we appreciate Goat Athletic being a partner with our winter workout tour. You can go check them out online. They have their store up now, goatathleticproducts.com. Make sure you go check him out. Okay. So I threw that over there. He's probably like, people are like, oh, just throw it anywhere. Sorry. But nonetheless, there you go. Hey, let's talk a little baseball. Prospects baseball. Prospects have been in St. Louis for a long time.
Yes, they have.
How long have you been associated with the program?
So I got associated with the Prospects, I would say probably 2013, 2014 is when I started coaching. And I started coaching the 18-year-old team at that point. And then after a couple years, Jerry and Andy, that's when they kind of had their transition where Andy purchased the Prospects from Jerry. In conjunction with that, we started the South program down here, which has been great. We've been running that since 2016 or so. And, we did a reassessment a few years ago. We had a lot of teams at one point, and then we kind of took a step back and kind of reassessed where we were at and what we wanted to do and change up a few things as far as the programming and the development side and things like that. And we're back on the up and up. So
And to be honest, I'd seen Southside Prospects for a long time. I didn't know if it was separate or the same or what, and it kind of was to me a little confusing.
Yeah, no, understand. And I know I've had that question a lot, especially over the years. And yes, we are one big organization. Andy and I talk, on a weekly basis for the most part. But we do all of our training out of here. Andy had his facility down in Chesterfield. Now he's working out of the Rawlings Training Center. But he does all of his training during the week down there with his guys. And all of our teams have, our facility at their disposal. Our youth teams have access, and our high school kids have access to the cages, and if the turf is available as a part of their club dues. So as a part of their club dues, they get to come in. If the cages are open, they can use it. If the pitching lane's open, they can use it. And I say if the turf is open and nobody's on there, you're more than welcome to go take some ground balls and stuff like that. And then in addition to that, our high school teams train 2 to 3 times a week, depending on where we're at in our winter program. And then our youth teams are training between 1 and 2 times a week, depending on where we're at in that cycle.
Baseball, St. Louis, I grew up watching and people know this, Mitch gets on me about it, but Dodger fan.
Yeah.
I'm from Southern California originally. Grew up a Dodger fan, all that kind of
But
thing.
you're a Cardinal fan now.
But no, I will root for the Cardinals and whatnot. I like the Cardinals organization because my dad's originally from Missouri, down in Lebanon, and I went to high school back and forth a little bit, back and forth between the two, coast and the Midwest and things like that. So I've always followed the Cardinals. I remember I flunked my first driver's test when 15 and a half because it was the World Series. This was in Lebanon, Missouri, too. We were living there at the time. It was, the Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers in 82. Watching the World Series game, go take test, and it wasn't good because I wasn't studying a lot.
Hey, I'd be watching the Cardinals game, too.
But, I grew up watching all this. I remember, Ozzie Smith hitting the home run. all that stuff there, that was where it formed me, you know, 77, 78, World Series, the Dodgers and the Yankees, Mr. October, breaking my face, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. And I think St. Louis is still, I know everybody talks about, you know, the Dodger fans, they love to talk about their fandom and things like that. But I do think St. Louis has the best baseball culture in the country. I do.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, between just the St. Louis Cardinal fan base, but you just go look at St. Louis baseball, the nature of St. Louis baseball, the way it is, whether it's youth, whether it's high school, even the competitive collegiate teams that we have here in St. Louis. You know, look at Webster; they competing at the D3 level pretty competitively. You know, you go look at Maryville. Maryville was just ranked like 23rd or 24th in the country for Division II. We have a very good, just solid St. Louis culture for baseball, and that's one thing that, you know, as a baseball guy, I went to Vianney High School. Vianney High School is obviously known for baseball. And that's one thing that, you know, as you continue to go along and no matter where you go, you always look back at St. Louis and say, look at the talent that's always come out of St. Louis. You know, whether it's, you know, just, I mean, you can name hundreds of guys, Max Scherzer, Jacob Turner. I mean, there's
Mark Burley.
Bingo. Yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of guys that have come out of St. Louis that are, you know, playing at a very high level or have played at a high level that have made it to the majors, made it to single A, double A, triple A, you know?
Absolutely. And I think that's interesting. And I think that's always kind of been the buzz around why youth baseball is so important in this community. How do you guys take that, thought process into what you do with your program?
Yeah. So, you know, as we go through and we're looking and we take everything as a, you know, we want to train the kids to the best of our ability. You know, we can sit here and we could try to get all these kids and promise this and that and this and that. But at the end of the day, I'm here to help train your kid to get them to what their goals are going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and promise you that you're going to be a Division I athlete or you're going to go play in the major leagues or anything. We're talking, hey, what are your goals? If your goal is to go make your high school team or your goal is to go make a college team or whatever that might be, go get a scholarship. That's what we're going to try to help you do to the best of our ability. And sometimes we have some trainers that are a little bit more advanced for some of, you know, those guys. And then we also have trainers that are you know, working with guys on the fundamentals.
Sure.
And, you know, we go look at our teams and, you know, we have some very higher end teams. And we talked about this the other day is, you know, we have higher end teams and we have other teams that, you know, they just need work. Some kids develop at all different rates. You know what I mean? And a kid at 12 may be the best kid at 12 years old. But come 15 or 16, they may be passed up at that point.
And he starts struggling a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
and because he's never faced adversity like that. And so, you know, as much as the physical side of baseball is, there's a big mental side to it too. And that's one that I really try to help our guys with a little bit on the mental side too, is hey, you know, it's a process. Not everything is going to come easily. Everything has to be worked at. And it's going to take more than just you and me coming into a cage or you and me out on the field for, you know, 30, 45 minutes a week. There's a lot of work that's got to be put on the back end.
When you're talking about baseball in this way, I think it's we discuss this a lot on Baseball Talk.
Yep.
And I always like to bring this up, you know, because this isn't. I think this is you know, across the board, not particular to a particular club or this or that. You know, youth, as you're going up the development process, you have to take a look at the individual kids.
Yep.
Because I think it's very important that at stages, parents understand what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
Correct? And when you start that process, you know, at 6, 7, and 8, you know, you can't be thinking about college baseball.
Oh, no. I coach our 6U team. My kid's on that team. And let me tell you what, we're herding cattle half the time, just trying to make them, hey, let's go. We're taking ground balls. We're not throwing and, you know, playing tag.
Is it snow cone time yet?
Yeah, exactly. Or kids are coming up and, you know, we talked about this the other day and they all can't wait till the end of practice because you go into my office down here and I got a cooler full of Powerade. And I try to hold our guys accountable at 6 years old, the 6U team. Hey, you go take the stuff back to the office, you can take a Powerade out of the refrigerator.
Right.
And so, you know, you only get so much out of an attention span of a 6-year-old, 5 and 6-year-old. So for us, it's all right, we're going to do shorter little drills and things like that to, you know, get them engaged, and then we'll go do something else and just completely change the mindset of them. We might go straight from, you know, doing, you know, infield ground ball drills to base running, then to hitting or whatever that might be to keep them engaged. Because I think at that age, yes, we need to teach them the game. We got to teach them the proper way to play baseball. But at the same time, we need to have fun. And that's the one thing that I think at times we forget, that we need to have fun.
Yeah.
And baseball is fun. Everybody can look back and say, man, I had fun playing. You know what I mean? And that's what, for me, that's the biggest thing is I want these kids to grow up, learn the game the proper way, and go have fun. And wherever the game takes you at that point, it's going to take you. But go have fun while you're doing it.
To be honest, I know from my own experience, as you've grown up, there are bits and pieces of things I remember. I couldn't tell you how many games we won.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you how many hits I had. I couldn't tell you any of that.
Yep.
I remember the smells of the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the team that used to beat us all the time.
Yep.
And those are the things that kind of stick in your mind. And I think that's true even today with the 6-year-olds, the 7-year-olds. And when we get there, when we get to that high school, a lot of that, it was fun. You remember having fun.
Exactly. Yeah, having fun and those memories that you make, because some of those guys that you play with at 6 and 7, you may be your best friends by the time you're, in college or whatever too.
Right. And I think that part of it, I love that approach to that youth side of it. When you're in those age levels, it has to remain, because by the time they get to 12, 13, 14, you're starting that process. We were talking with Josh earlier, and you're starting that process of the development of, okay, what's the next step? And I think regardless of what we might want to say, I'm an honest guy. I'll say this. There's separators that start to happen. Yep. You see the kids that really want to work, really want to go, really want to do, and are engaged in that process. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, as you were just saying, as you go along, you're going to know some of those kids are not going to weed themselves out too. They may just say, hey, baseball's not for me.
Right.
And they might move on to, maybe it's basketball, maybe it's football, whatever that might be. And then you're going to have those kids they're diehard baseball guys. Yeah. And they got to put the work in, but you got to help them get there too,
And I think that's where programs, when we talk about these things, what are the approaches within that, identifying players, and how do you start that process with them? And I think you were talking about mentally, and where does that go to? Do you start talking to them just about where are you going to high school? And if you got a kid that goes to I'll give a reference down here to a Vianney or to, a Lindbergh.
Yeah.
Or one of the schools that, is perennially a powerhouse, which down here you got more private schools than up there, right?
I guess me being a Vianney, I really can't say too much because I don't want to act like I'm recruiting here. But
no, you can't.
That's right. Yeah. We got to be careful. But
you got Seckman, these schools that are pretty much every year. Oakville's been doing much better down here. Festus, of course. You got some of these schools. You don't just automatically go there and play.
No, you don't. And I think that's a testament to St. Louis baseball.
Right.
The training has come a long ways. I mean, if you go look over the past couple of years, even just the last, 8 to 10 years on the pitching side, I mean, we've come a long way on the pitching side. And I think that's just a testament to the people that have come back and that are giving back into the St. Louis community, guys that may have gone out and played at a higher level that can bring some of that knowledge back in. I know Andrew Keck, who does AK-12 out of the Swing City Cage in here. Andrew does a phenomenal job with the hitters, and Andrew's been working a lot with the catchers as well. That's just a prime example of a guy that's, giving back into the community, and it's only helping build up and grow the St. Louis baseball atmosphere, whether that be, just a high school kid or a youth kid. But like we talked about earlier is, developing at a young age to where then we can really start to refine things as they get older instead of teaching them the basics when they get in a program at, 13 years old. Then you're trying to play catch up if they never had, some structure behind a practice or, everything. That's why when I talk to all my coaches, we have practice plans. Yeah. We make sure that our coaches have practice plans, whether it be training plans for the winter, practice plans for outside and what have you. That way the parents know what's going on. Our kids know what's going on, what they expect, what they know they're going to work on, what they need to work on. And then from there, I think that's just one thing that really helps us take not only the program, but also our kids to another level.
I think it is. And I love that approach because when you start talking about a program, club baseball, everybody kind of goes, oh, you go out and play a tournament.
Yeah.
I think the thought process, I think for better is starting to turn. And yeah, go out and play.
Yeah.
Play the games, enjoy, go out and try and win if you can.
Yep.
That you should. But I think just as you said, the program should be built around the development process. And you go out and you play in a tournament and you kind of see where you're at
Right.
against other guys,
Right.
correct?
Absolutely. And that's like if you're sitting in class and
Mhm.
you're learning, and then you got a test. It's the same thing for baseball, right? I mean, we're sitting here and we're teaching kids ground balls or fundamentals, whatever age it is, whatever step they're in. But then from there, your test is your game, your test is your tournament, your test is your leagues, stuff like that, to see where you're at, to where then you really gauge what you need to work on. I know for us, when I was coaching our high school teams, it was, we were on a grind. We were going out of town every weekend, and we only had a small window to get a practice in because guys need a break too.
Sure.
And so, you got a small window to work stuff in where we might have an hour and a half practice, but that hour and a half practice is broken down to the things that we need to work on. We're spending, out of that hour and a half, we're spending an hour and, 15 minutes on the things we need to work on, and then continuing to refine the things that we are doing well at certain points.
There's been a lot of conversation that I've had with people that talk about maybe cutting down some of that and getting back to more practices. I know a lot of the high school coaches have talked about that in the summer, getting kids more practice time rather than playing as many games. Your thoughts on that?
No, I would agree with you. I know for our high school program especially, we practice twice a week. It's something where they're going to be in here once a week on the high school side, whether it, just off the tees and working cages and stuff like that, and getting outside, doing their their fielding practice and things like that. But I truly believe that having a mixture of both, where we can sit there then and kind of put it all together. And one thing we can't lose is that competitive nature, though. And that's the one thing that,
I agree.
when we do stuff in here, even at 6-year-olds, we're competing. It might be fun little games, do a little game of knockout with the 6-year-olds and things like that. High school, it's a little bit more competitive. We'll throw out the hit tracks and do some competitions on that. But don't forget the competitiveness side of it, because it is one thing that, we're kind of in a society where it's just more like, hey, here's a trophy for everything. And, at times let's we're competing here,
Yep.
But
I
back
agree.
to the practice side, absolutely. I mean, we're training, we're practicing at least 2 times a week. And in the wintertime, our guys are also getting into output performance over there as well, getting in their weights at least 2 to 3 times a week too.
Very good. I think that's it. I love that point because, tournament baseball's there. There's a lot of people that say go back and forth about tournament baseball or is a league, this, that.
Yep.
I don't think it matters as long as you're playing, personally.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the competitiveness part, where does that take over and how do you balance that, especially with the parents, with the winning, with the competitiveness to win, I should say, and the development process?
Well, it's funny you say. I think the parents sometimes maybe care more about a win and a loss than the kids do at times. But
I agree with that.
With that being said, obviously, yes, everybody wants to win. That's just the nature of it, right?
Yes.
However, behind it is, well, okay, let's break down maybe why we lost a ball game, and play the opposite end of it and say, okay, well, hey, we lost this ball game because we didn't do this right, or we didn't do this right, and then refining back to our skills or whatever we need to go back to revert back to continuing to train on those things. And, the competitiveness is always going to be in all of us. If it's not, baseball is probably not a sport for you. You know what I mean? I think everybody wants to compete and everybody wants to win, but it's being able to balance that and also understand that, your development is different than the guy playing next to you and the team you may be playing against right now. And so that's where always competing, always working at your skills to continue to develop. And that's, it may take you somewhere. It may get you to where you want to go, and you may fall a little short of that. But, with that being said, just making sure that, on the competitiveness side, especially the parents, it's letting it be known early. What are the expectations? Set the expectations out there. That way everybody knows early on what to expect. And, hey, this is going to be more of a development team, or, hey, this is a team that we're going to be going out, we're going to be competing at a higher level. And yes, our goal is to either, win tournaments, get our kids recruited, whatever that might be. I think that's on a team by team basis, kind of based off of, the level of each team.
I think it's fascinating, you know, because when you look at high school baseball, you see a team. I think even last year, I'd have to go back and look, but I think they lost 15 games. Blue Springs
Yeah.
won the state championship. I think they'd lost 13 games
Yep.
over the season. You forget about baseball in that capacity, and it's almost like we get this idea that, you know, like, oh, we got to be undefeated all the time.
Yep.
That ain't baseball.
No.
That's not baseball. You're going to lose some. I've seen some teams go 0-2 in pool play and come back and
Yeah.
win
And
a tournament.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, as a, you know, on the club side, and I lost the camera. Or we lost.
We lost the light. That's all right.
on the club side, it's, you know, yeah, we're going out, we're competing, we're trying to go win tournaments and things, but at the end of the day, that's not necessarily at the end. It's, you know, hey, we're talking culture, we're talking about building something, and that's where, you know, as a director of an organization, it's great to see all those accolades for all those kids and the team and everything, but, you know, as we go along with it, how are we growing these kids outside of baseball and the life lessons we are teaching them while playing the game? And that's, for me, one of the biggest reasons why I do this every day.
When you get into the high school ages with your kids, and what are some of the things you guys do recruiting wise that help these kids and help them get, you know, I should say help them recruit themselves, because I know there's cliches and there's things and there's stuff and whatnot, but in the end, you know, you got to put in some work to get yourself in that place to where do you want to go to school? How do you want to do this? What's the process there?
Yeah, so, you know, each kid's going to be different, obviously. Yes, I would agree to an extent. The kids have to do work themselves.
Sure.
You know, but for us, it's sitting there, it's assessing where they're at and where we see them, you know, and my view of a kid may be a little bit different than your view of a kid.
Sure.
And it's having those conversations, and from there, it's finding the right fit for them. As far as recruiting is concerned, you know, we have a good database, myself and just the prospects in general. Andrew does a lot with our high school guys. And so, you know, having those contacts and knowing those people where, hey, I might go show you as a college coach, hey, I got this guy and he's not going to be a good fit for our program, but the referrals then onto another program and things like that. And, you know, as far as just the kids doing their part, you know, they've got to recruit themselves too. You know, they can't just sit on a couch and wait for a phone call. That's not going to happen. Those days are kind of over. I mean, if I got a kid sitting on a couch and a kid going out and doing all these other showcases and things, I think that kid's going to get seen a little bit more than the kid sitting on the couch, right? We do our own showcase. We actually do a showcase on President's Day here at the facility for all of our high school guys. We run them through a bunch of metrics and everything and test them on everything. And then we put profiles together for all of our high school guys that then are used as a part of our player packets and things like that when we are out at tournaments over the summer too. So that's a good starting point. And then our coaches obviously are in especially at the 15, 16, 17s level, they're in contact with us almost on a daily basis about what's going on, how the kids are doing and things like that too. Then we can sit there, because I can't be at every game. Andrew can't be at every game, right? So it's making sure that we're able to make the phone calls that need to be made and you know, reach out to those schools, but also know realistically where those kids are at and where their level is. And on top of that, it's making sure the kids understand that too. You know what I mean? There may be a kid that is just a really good fit for a Division II school. We know he's not going and playing down in Miami or something like that. And it's getting the kid and the parent to also understand that as well. And I think that's maybe one of the biggest roadblocks is, you know, you have people thinking here, and realistically it's here, you know.
Yeah, and I understand everybody likes the bright lights,
Absolutely,
and the thinking, the thought process, but in reality, you know, most kids get off to college and they're like, man, where's mom? I need my laundry done.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Can I get some food? I need money.
Then give me $20.
And that's, I think, the one thing that I look at, and one of the things that we've talked about a lot, and with Kevin Mulder on our show, I think it's interesting. Are kids really going out and looking, you know, they say, okay, what's the academic thing here?
Yep.
I think because there's a separator, you have this kid here that everybody, SEC, Big 12, whatnot.
And you know those guys.
That's an elite situation here. But then everybody else falls down into these other categories, and I think that's okay. That doesn't mean you're a bad baseball
No,
player.
absolutely not.
But I think it's interesting is what are the things you're looking at? Are you looking at academics? Are you looking at a roster?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
how many kids are ahead of you, right?
Yeah, and I like to tell my guys, be recruitable. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, your academics have to come first because outside of the percentages show, not many guys are going on to play minor league ball, pro ball. Be academically recruitable. You know what I mean? I would say your academics need to come first because there is always life after baseball.
Right.
Be recruitable. Be smart. Okay. Be smart in what you post. I mean, as we've always seen, social media is a monster. And you've got to be able to be recruitable on the standpoint of don't go post stupid stuff online, And if you got a burner account, get rid of it because people will find out. I mean,
got a burner account.
I'm telling you what, people will find out. And that's where, be recruitable on that end. And then and have the conversations, know where you stand and do your research.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, and we can get into the transfer portal and how nuts that whole thing is. But, look at what schools you're interested in. Look at their rosters. Know what they have, what they may be looking to recruit for. That may not be a good fit for you, or it may be a perfect fit for you. It just kind of depends.
Because there's college coaches going, I'm not looking for this. I'm not looking for corner infielders.
Yeah. It may be a year where they're not looking for corner guys.
I'm not even, I've got 5 catchers, and that's probably unusual, but you never know. Do you have 6 shortstops in front of you?
Yeah.
I think those are, I didn't you learn as you go and the thought process and how you do. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, man, this stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
But who's really talking about these things? And to your point on social media, people find stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because I made a mistake. I got to say this, to our folks, the folks out at Warrenton. We're going to be live streaming a game from Warrenton Warriors. Good program out there. Coach Burley does a great job. We messed up. I messed up the post. We're fixing it. My bad. See? It's true, man.
Hey,
they'll point it out.
You know what? Hold yourself accountable, too.
That's right. I did. I messed it up.
Yeah. Good. I don't even know what you posted, but
we're doing we did this year. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. We hope to do more and grow this in the future. But I love to spotlight the players. I really enjoy that part of it because it's what it's about. If we're having fun. It's high school baseball. Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah.
And because at some point, it'll all be done.
Yep.
And so let's have some fun with it. We had a bunch of the GAC guys from different teams.
Yep.
Teams that we're going to be part of our GAC Game of the Week, GAC Classic, come into the studio, and we did a big photo video shoot with the guys and whatnot, and we're posting that stuff out and promoting the GAC Game of the Week this year. And so we haven't done this at this level up to this point, and we just had great players. I mean, there's some guys come through. Appreciate, all the guys, Howell and Zumwalt West. And I mean, some of the top players in the state are in the GAC.
They are.
And, we're going to have a lot of fun.
It's always tough going across the river to go face Hall and Zumwalt West. And, those are always fun games for us, but, they're always battles. They're always close, I'll tell you that.
That Timberland team is going to be one to pay attention to.
Yep.
They're loaded and right at the top.
I think they're on our schedule this year, for beyond.
Timberland?
Yeah, I think they are in the Midwest Classic, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Well, we'll be live streaming the championship game for the Midwest Classic if you end up being there. There you go. Right?
Yeah, hopefully.
There you go. I love that stuff. So as we finish up here, Eric, just the overall outlook for your program. Where are you guys wanting to be in 5 years? What's your thought process to that?
Yeah, and that's stuff that we've talked a little bit about, and our philosophy is we want to continue to develop and grow. Internally, yes, it's great to have teams coming through the facility and having this place. I would rather have this place filled 24/7 with baseball and softball players than having some field hockey in here. But, with that being said, St. Louis is a competitive market, right? And, for us, we are going to continue to do things the right way. We're going to continue to develop and train our kids. And if you want to be a part of our program, obviously reach out to us. But for us, we're going to continue to grow and teach the game the right way, and we're going to have fun along the way. And we're going to teach life lessons way beyond just the baseball side, because there is life after baseball, and that's one thing that that I've always said is we're trying to prepare these kids not only for the game itself, but for life after the game.
I think that's it's great because like I said, we talked to Josh earlier, and you got guys coming back, and I think that's a testament. Guys coming back that have played in programs, coming back, helping and working within the programs. And I think that's always a testament to the opportunities that you guys provide.
And that's one thing that I love bringing those guys back in. That they're great athletes, they're great trainers. They're guys that went on and played college ball that can take some of the stuff that I've been out of college enough now where I'm like, all right, what are you guys doing? I'm reaching out to my guys and like, hey, what do they got going down in Missouri State for your pitching side? Like I'm reaching out to my guys that are actively playing right now to kind of gauge what I can adjust as a coach too, to really help on the back end for the guys that are coming up through the program.
Absolutely. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely important. Hey, man.
Yep. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a lot of fun. We're going to be, we appreciate the Southside Prospects, Coach Ruehl letting us come out. Folks, if you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the dinger next to it. It's not a home run, but it's notifications for upcoming episodes. Just like this. Great information, talking baseball all the time. That's what we do here. Youth Baseball Midwest. We want to be the most comprehensive youth baseball talk in the Midwest, and that's our goal. So until next time, we do appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day in the Lord. Are you a pitcher or a hitter?
I was a pitcher. Lefty.
Advice for pitchers.
Oh, well, throw strikes. Right, Josh?
And you hitters, hit a bomb.
There you go.
There you go.
Hit dingers.
We'll see y'all next time.